Hey everybody, it's Flyin Ryan here with the review of the exciting new Blade Nano QX 3D. This thing is so cool, very unique and original, first kind of of its type on the market. If you've been following the Blade 200 QX, you may be familiar with the firmware update they came out with that allows the motors to reverse, so the props spin the other way and allow you to fly upside down. So you'll see that this actually has the props facing down, but you can flip this upside down and then fly it like this as well. So it does that same motor reversing so that the props spin either way and allow you to fly it on either side. And it actually does that with the press of a button. It's got a few different modes, and in one of the modes you can just press that button and press whichever way you want it to flip, and it'll do a half flip to inverted, and the controls will actually reverse, so your left and right remain the same, and then you can just keep flying like this and reverse again and keep flying like that. So really cool, and it just looks really neat. It's got these the same prop guards like the original Nano QX, but they actually kind of act like landing feet in this version, or you can land like this. And it actually also recognizes which side it's on, so if you crash and whichever way you land, it's going to know that, and it's going to be ready to take off and have all the controls and the prop spinning the right way, whichever side you land on. So really cool. It does have this kind of exposed frame design, so where the whole frame is the control board. So a little bit vulnerable that way, but it does have little LEDs all throughout the arm, so it's got a bunch of different LEDs all over it. So good for night flying even. And there's not really much to it. I mean, you'll see the motors plug in right here, so even replacing a motor is super easy. This arm and motor mount thing is one piece. The frame is one piece. This fin is another piece, and then the canopy. I mean, I think it's like 3 or 4 parts basically. So just really modular, really easy to fix and replace parts on if you need to. This is the battery it comes with. It's a 30C 200 milliamp hour LiPo. That gives you about, let's see, 5 minutes and 40-second flights with about a 20-second LVC warning. So a total of about 6-minute flights. And it takes about 30 minutes to charge here with this little USB charger that it comes with. You just plug your battery into that cable there. And then it also does come with a set of spare props and a few little grommets for the canopy in case you lose those. But there are some upgraded batteries available. I found these on Amazon. This is a 300 milliamp hour 35C. This actually gives you about 7.5-minute flights, so quite a bit longer flights with this battery, and that's a good long flight time. Let's see. Okay, let's look at the transmitter. I did get the RTF version just so I could, get a look at the transmitter and tell you guys about that. And kind of the same as from the Nano QX FPV, a little bit different design this time though. So you've got the trigger for flips or doing inverted, and then this switch is for your 3 different modes. In the zero mode, I forget what it's called, but in the original mode, down all the way down where it says 0 here. So the switch all the way down is your like basic mode, and then when you pull the trigger and then move the right stick in whatever direction, it'll do a flip, and it actually does a really unique flip because it kind of goes inverted and then it does it again. So it has this like 2-step flip process. But that was one of the things that people didn't like about the original Nano QX is it had no automated flips and it had no LEDs. So we've got both of those now in the 3D. We've got automated flips, we've got LEDs. In the 1 mode, if you flip the switch to the middle position, now it's the easy 3D inverted mode. So you pull the trigger, move the right stick, whatever direction you want, and it'll do the half flip to inverted, and then all your controls will reverse. Forward and backward do not reverse those. So if you're flying this way and you do a half flip this way, forward is now towards you. So forward will always be forward. So keep that in mind. If you do a front or back half flip, your forward and backward do not reverse, but left and right will remain the same. It still goes that way. So I like to roll into inverted because then all your controls stay exactly the same. Let's see. So the clicking the right stick changes rates, and there are 2 rates, and the yaw rate changes, but it's a very fast yaw rate. I mean, this thing can spin. It can do really, really tight funnels. Very sporty, acrobatic quad. The left stick, I don't believe does anything on this one. Yeah, I don't think so. So yeah, you got rates, flips, modes, and that's all there is to that. I did find though a few problems, being that it has these little clipped-in plastic motor mounts. I did find the motor to actually work its way out. I think when I was doing a lot of flipping and motor reversing, all the action going on slowly worked the motor out, and it actually came out of the mount and then sent the quad off crashing into the wall. And then something that there have just been a ton of reports about is LEDs going out. So when you do a little crash, I mean, it doesn't even have to be that hard of a crash. A lot of times people are losing LEDs. They just go out and they stop working, and you can kind of move the arm around and get them to come back on sometimes. So I think just, with this exposed frame design, and then you kind of bend the arm in a crash, the connection just gets lost. And I mean, you'll see they're just tiny, tiny, tiny little things there. So there is a video out there of a guy that, has a pretty good fix for them. It does require soldering though, but basically he's just adding just a little bit of more solder to it. I think there's just not quite enough solder on them from the factory. So little crashes and bends just end up breaking the connection between the solder and the resistors or whatever they are. So you just got to add a little bit more solder and make a little bit bigger, stronger connection there. Or you just do the solution that I did and just go out and buy a B&F version. So I bought a whole nother one, and I haven't even taken this one out of the box yet. I just wanted a good, fresh working one, so I could use that for my flight review and show you, what it actually looks like with all the working LEDs. But this one does have missing LEDs. Let's actually go ahead and turn it on and see if I can show you. So, yeah, I don't know if they really show up in the lights too well, but you'll see here I've got a blinking blue LED in the front, but over on this one, my blue LED is not working. But if I move, oh, there you can kind of see it wants to blink on and off. Sometimes it comes and goes. Oh, no, yeah, see, so yeah, definitely a common issue. Lots and lots of reports of that happening to other people. So don't expect those LEDs to last too long, especially if you crash. Oh, and then lastly, if you flip the switch to the position 2 here, the upward position, that's basically full manual 3D. So now, just like a collective pitch helicopter, your stick in the center is 0 throttle. So up is forward pitch and down is reverses the motors, and up and down pitch. So you have to use your throttle control to flip to inverted, and then use your own controls to fly upside down. It's not going to do any automated reversing anything for you. It's full 3D. So now you can do the TikToks and fancier stunts and stuff like that, almost like a collective pitch helicopter. Of course, it's not as reactive because it is reversing the motors. It's not just using blade pitch. So the motors do need a very millisecond to reverse, so you can't get too aggressive. But definitely a good little quad to learn 3D on if you're wanting to move up to the 200 QX to do 3D, or any of the other 3D quads that are starting to hit the market, this is a good, safe, small, light one to practice on. You're going to be able to crash this with, without having as much chance of completely destroying it. So a good one to learn on. But yeah, I think that's all there is to say about it, so let's go take it for a flight. Alright, this is the flight review of the Blade Nano QX 3D. And I got my new one out so you can see all the LEDs. You got 2 green in the front, like by the eye area, and then 2 blue out on the front motors, and then 2 red out on the back motors. And they are on top and bottom, so whichever side you're on, you've got, full visibility of all the LEDs. And I'm just going to show off the first 2, automatic modes. I'm no 3D pilot, so I won't be able to show off the manual 3D stuff, but we'll just take it for a spin first. And it does, it's all protected on every side, so you can touch the ceiling regardless of what side you're on. So let's just kind of fly for a minute. Let's see, I think I'm on... Yeah, let me get back in the center room. So this is low rate pirouette there, high rates pirouette. So it can spin like a top. Get some funnels going. Oops! Please don't break an LED already. So yeah, the funnels aren't quite super tight. Looks like motor mount got all twisted here. Let me get that back into shape. What did I do? Just bend it. There we go. Alright. Alright, so in the first mode, when I hit the right trigger and then move the right stick, you see it kind of does like a double roll flip. Pretty neat, unique flips. Alright, and now I'm in the second mode, where it's kind of fake 3D mode. So when I hit the right trigger and move my stick, it just flips inverted. So now I'm upside down. And all my controls, left and right, reverse. So left is still left, and I can go ahead and flip. Left is still left. But forward is always the front of the quad. So if I roll it, or if I do a forward or backward flip, now forward is towards me. So you got to remember that. That can get you thrown off. So I tend to like to roll into inverted instead of flip into inverted. But very cool, nice, quick transition. The motor is just almost immediately reverse. Oops, a little slow on my flip there. Yeah, and then whatever side you put it down on, it's going to recognize that and it'll take off, and all the controls will be just fine. But I mean, it is just a nice smooth flyer, just like the original Nano QX. It's just a really nice quad. Just other than those LEDs breaking, which I'm trying not to crash it. I don't want an LED to go out yet. Let's flip to this side. Now let's turn off the lights and look at the LEDs in the dark before I knock one of them out. So it looks pretty cool in the dark. Definitely a night flyer. You got LEDs all over the thing, plenty visible from all angles, plenty bright. Very cool looking. Oh yeah, so I'll show this way. When you got the arms up, you can touch the ceiling still. Do the ceiling fan. Whoop! That's my Traxxas Stampede holder case up there, crashed into it. Alright, let's fly around in the dark some more, that's kind of fun. Let's flip it to normal mode and do some little flips in the dark. I just love the way it does those flips. Kind of just goes inverted for just a second and then flips back to the side it started on. Very cool. Alright, let's turn some lights back on. Try to keep it under control while I'm doing the lights. There we go. So yeah, and this thing super nimble, plenty fast, it's got some good kick to it. Probably better outdoors in the wind than the original Nano QX, which pretty much couldn't fly in the wind. This one seems to have a lot more authority. It's just really quick. Very fun little quad. Man, this thing's cool. Let's try a funnel again. I never got a good funnel going. So yeah, it doesn't stay perfectly centered there, so it kind of moves around in the funnel, so kind of a little bit tricky to keep it in the middle of the room, but they're nice and tight, that's for sure. I don't think it's quite as tight as the Nano QX, because that would actually rotate around one motor and just stay in place. But you know, maybe that's the RTF controller, because I did use the DX8 for my normal Nano, so maybe the RTF rates aren't quite matched up the same. Man, this thing is fun to fly. Flip to the second mode, where, oh, I think my battery's too dead. It's not letting me flip inverted. Huh. Alright, well, let's take it in for a landing. There we go. That is the Blade Nano QX 3D with motor reversing inverted flight. Very, very cool and unique. Very fun. Very original. Just a lot of fun with this one. If it weren't for those LEDs, I think this thing would be perfect. But those LEDs are definitely fragile, and I know that's going to annoy a lot of people. But alright, well, check the video description for price and purchase link, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.